This lesson is called Leaps and Bounds, and it's for grades K through 3. So basically the nutshell of this lesson is to focus on animal movements by investigating tracks, and by mimicking movements, students will mimic movements with their bodies. The objectives for this lesson are students will participate in a nature walk to discover animal tracks and signs. They will mimic how at least one animal moves, and they will be able to explain how animals' movements help it live. And they will also apply this lesson to their real life situations by picturing how their life would be if they couldn't move in the ways that they can move now, such as standing on 2 feet and walking. For the introduction for this lesson, what you want to do is have students go around and introduce themselves and tell you what one of their favorite animals is, preferably a Wisconsin animal. And you want them to explain how their animal moves. And if they're feeling brave, they can even demonstrate how their animal moves. So if they say a frog, you could have them hop around, or a bobcat, they would walk on all fours. For this part of the lesson, it's kind of the warm-up. Half of the students will have cards like this with the animal showing outward. So some examples are the coyote and the beaver. So they'll line up, and then about 50 or 60 feet from them, we'll have students with the track signs that match them. So these are the beaver tracks, and those are the coyote tracks. And what they will need to do is they'll be standing in lines facing each other, and they will have to find their partner. So the animal will have to find their track, and the track will have to find their animal. If you want to, you can have the students walk in the way that their animal would walk. So the next lesson, the next part of the lesson is called Track Detectives, and this part of the lesson is inside. And there are different overheads like this, and there are different scenarios. So you want to put one or two of them up and give the students a couple minutes to look at them, and then have them draw what they think is happening. So what kind of animals and what the animals are doing. So after they completed their drawing, you put this up along with this. So this would be a deer tracks walking along a river, and then these are human tracks. So they can check to see if their scenario that they drew is correct. This part of the lesson, this is called the Leaps and Bounds Adventure Hike. And you want to bring the students down to the public beach at Sunset Lake where it's nice and sandy. Before the lesson starts, you want to have these tracks. You can take as many as you like and just spread them around. There are also these molds that you can use, and you can actually put them in the sand and push it down, and it leaves an imprint. And basically you just want the students to walk around, kind of explore, find these tracks, see if they can identify the tracks, and have them kind of think about what the animals maybe were doing. After that, you walk back and you can do the conclusion here inside. You want to kind of conclude by asking the students how movements help them where different animals live, and how it would be different in our lives if we couldn't move the way that we move now by walking. So you just want them to kind of think about that. Then the objectives, once again, just to recap, are the students will be able to discover animal tracks and signs. They will be able to mimic how at least one animal moves, and they will be able to tell how a particular animal's movements help it live.